He is best of all who of himself conceiveth all things. Good again is he too who can adopt a good suggestion. But whoso neither of himself conceiveth, nor hearing from another layeth it to heart, he is a useless man. The arousing of prejudice, pity, anger, and similar emotions has nothing to do with the essential facts, but is merely a personal appeal to the man who is judging the case. The more perfect a nature is, the fewer means it requires for its operation. Even if our contact with eternal beings is slight, nonetheless because of its surpassing value this knowledge is a greater pleasure than our knowledge of everything around us. Men may be bad in many ways, but good in one alone. Whatever creates or increases happiness or some part of happiness, we ought to do. Whatever destroys or hampers happiness or gives rise to its opposite, we ought not to do. All those who have become eminent in philosophy or politics or poetry or the arts are clearly melancholics. Now there is a common division of goods into three classes, one being called external, the other two those of the soul and body respectively, and those belonging to the soul we call most properly and specially good. Well, in our definition we assume that the actions and workings of the soul constitute happiness, and these of course belong to the soul. Think as the wise men think, but talk like the simple people do. It is injustice that the ordering of society is centered. Criticism is something you can easily avoid by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. What we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. By a male animal we mean that which generates in another, and by a female that which generates in itself. The worst thing about slavery is that the slaves eventually get to like it. The things about which we inquire are equal in number to the things we understand. Being will not have magnitude, if it is substance, for each of the two parts must be in a different sense. But he who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god. For the laughable is a sort of error and ugliness that is not painful and destructive, just as, evidently, a laughable mask is something ugly and distorted without pain. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. We physicists, on the other hand, must take for granted that the things that exist by nature are, either all or some of them, in motion, which is indeed made plain by induction. Even subjects that are known only to a few. Bad men, who are too weak for toil, are in love with death. Man, if perfected, is the best of all animals, but when isolated he is the worst of all. I say that habits but a long practice, friend, and this becomes men's nature in the end. Even when the laws have been written down, they ought not always remain unchanged. It is more proper that law should govern than any one of the citizens, upon the same principle, if it is advantageous to place the supreme power in some particular persons, they should be appointed to be only guardians, and the servants of the laws. But to die to escape from poverty or love or anything painful is not the mark of a brave man, but rather of a coward.